pre-consumed. I'm about 15-ish minutes away. So by the time I open the doors, I will be ready to, well, let's just say spring into action. So since today is just arms, I don't really need the most insane warm-up. And if you're in a rush, so I've got a whole separate thing I was about to talk about, but if you're in a rush for an arm day, or you're in a rush for any type of workout, not that I'm in a rush, but you really can skip a little bit of the warming up phase, I believe. Not in the, the sense that you should just curl as heavy as you can go without any warm up whatsoever. But if you're starting with a light squeezing set, well, are you really missing out by, not warming up beforehand? Maybe a little, because the warming up, like doing a couple light 20-pound curls before you get ready for a real set, it's not just that you're exposing yourself to the weight. You're actually sending more signals, kind of getting the area ready. Like I've done leg press sets before where after the first set, I actually got more reps on the second one, because now I feel like my quads and my whole, neural system or whatever is like primed and ready to go for the next one. But if you're gonna do an arm day and you're like, dude, I gotta fucking finish this thing quick, I gotta leave in 30 minutes or something, well then just start with a weight that you can curl without hurting yourself, like very feasible. Like I can, at this point now, the odds would be astronomical that I could ever just tear my bicep grabbing a 30. Like it's well within my wheelhouse. So if I was like, I gotta get started instantly, put my bag down, grab something, set number one, I just grab the 30s and then do a real squeezing, holding, like 2-second hold, alternating reps. And then, maybe get like 20 reps out of the set, but I could jump straight into it, So if you're ever in a rush, start with light squeezing, and then set by set, you will be warming yourself up, exposing yourself to more weight, and then you can really get ready for something big, maybe more like mid-workout. I used to be much more, not judgmental, but much more like rigid, thinking I want every workout to start heavy and end light. Because in my head, I want to start heavy when I'm fresh, and then as I get weaker, I'll have to lighten the weight. Which I think that logic is still sound. Like a workout that starts heavy, ends light, I think is still good. But it's not the only way to go about it. So now I like starting with light stuff in the beginning, maybe easing into heavier stuff at the end, or just whatever, kind of changing it up. But what I was really about to say was I was considering last night just doing an insane carb up for this arm day today. Like I was thinking, okay, stop at the store, I'm talking sweets, treats, ice cream, not really ice cream though, because it's there's so much fats, but like a sorbet or maybe like a fat-free kind of ice cream or something like that. Cumulative 800,000 grams of carbs or something. I could count it as a refeed, and then this arm day would just be nuts because I'd be extra carbed up and probably wake up like, I don't know, probably 8 pounds heavier, something like that. But I think it's a little too soon. It's a little too soon for something like that. But I definitely had the itch. And if I did, well, I think it would still be solid. Because then today, I would have a really good workout, and I would definitely burn up some of that extra glycogen. I'd still do my cardio, and I'd probably do a little extra cardio, because the cardio would feel easier, because I'd be fed. Like, that's a misconception for anybody bulking. Or maybe not misconception, but if you're eating in a surplus, do you know how easy cardio is? Like, cardio can be a fucking chore once you're getting pretty damn depleted, like show ready, 8 weeks, 6 weeks out. You got no carbs in your system, at least not as much as you would like. And you're doing, 2 30-minute sessions or 2-hour sessions if you're getting really crazy. Yeah, cardio gets kind of hard. If you're eating 3,500 calories, however many 100 grams of carbs, for you to just sit in the treadmill at 3 miles an hour for 30 minutes, I just don't understand. You lead the lifter to the treadmill, you can't make him walk. But from being extra carbed up, if I were to have done that, I'd probably do a little extra cardio. I would definitely get some badass sleep. I mean, not all bad. But I wouldn't burn any fat. I would not burn any body fat today. One analogy I like saying is your body fat is essentially like the basic foods in a family's kitchen. Your body fat is like just a big ass bag of Idaho potatoes, or a big thing of meatloaf, or a dozen eggs, or what else? Oatmeal. Not sweetened, I'm talking like just a big tube of plain Quaker's oats, right? So, imagine like a stereotypical family house. You know what else is in that kitchen? Cheetos, ice cream, Doritos. What else? Let me think. What's another kind of treat? Maybe some donuts, or some muffins, or orange juice, or leftover Chinese food, things like that. When that is in the kitchen, when things like that, when very snackable, totally easy to eat foods are in the kitchen, really, what are the odds that you're going to grab that oatmeal and just have a bowl of that? No fucking chance. You're going to eat the good stuff. So I think that's kind of, in a way, you could think of how your body works, right? When you're full of carbs, your body's going to run off the good stuff. If I start eating an extra 500 grams of anything, rice, oatmeal, cream of wheat, even treats like some Skittles or just whatever, well, your body runs off of glycogen quite well. The conversion of glucose to ATP, or however the hell that all works, that is pretty efficient and pretty quick. So you're always going to use that if it's available. So that's the whole point of being flat and depleted. Once you're low on that internal carbs and internal glycogen, well, then it's like, you open up the fridge and it's dead empty. That's when you say, all right, well, shit, I guess I'm having a can of refried beans today, or, whatever the hell else is in the kitchen. So, that's something which I think a lot of people don't get. And obviously that's not like a perfectly accurate scientific description, but you get the gist. You're going to burn those sugars first. Yeah, I was about to say something else, but now I forget. But either way, I didn't do that. I did not do that this time. And instead, I stuck to my deficit calories, had a big jug of flavored water next to me, so even though I was kind of hungry when I went to bed, had a couple big swigs of that, kind of filled up my stomach. Even though it's not food, just drinking a crap ton of fluids can give you a little bit of like that satiation kind of feeling. Nothing like food, but just a little. I mean, you do physically have something in your stomach now. So that's a tip I'd recommend. Every lifter isn't complete without his jug. But yeah, stuck to my deficit. Morning weight 236, so that's about right. And I've kind of been bouncing around that upper 230s kind of pound area, but I haven't been like 100% strict. Like I've been having, I think my average macro intake over the last month has probably been like 2,900, something like that, 29. And it's not like 29 every day, like 27, 26, 25, 3,300, maybe even like a 4,000. I don't remember how many calories I had on the night that I went to Texas Roadhouse or Texas Steakhouse. I think it's Texas Roadhouse. But a couple extra calorie days like that. But I'm going to get a little more real for these next 6 weeks-ish. Because if I'm dieting and I want to get a little bit leaner before I start to put size on later, well, there's no fun in it for me if you half-ass it, right? Like, obviously, once I start eating come, end of August-ish? Something like that. Once I start trying to get a little more full, well, yeah, I'm going to put some more body fat on. I'll get a little bit softer. Some might look at that as though I'm undoing all the progress that I'm getting right now. Not exactly the case. But in the meantime, well, fuck, man. You're either bulking or you're cutting. Or you're maintaining, which, whatever. That's basically just bulking. You're just doing it slow. So whichever one you do, stick to it, you know? I mean, I've heard guys where they've told me they were bulking. Not so much recently, but especially when I was in college, because the rec center gym was just packed 24/7. You know, I mean, we've all heard it. The guy who's like, "Oh, dude, man, I've been grubbing, bro. I've been eating 6,000." You know, when somebody hits you with the 6,000 calories, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I've eaten 6,000 calories. I've eaten, not consistently. I've never been able to do like weeks of 6,000 calories on end, but I've done weeks of 5,000. You know, I've done weeks of 5.5 and even just 4,500. And if you're half Thor Bjornsson, that probably just feels like a regular ass day, because the guy is just physically huge and requires that much energy even just to stay alive. But, you know, when the 180 pounder hits you with, "I've been eating 6,000, I get skeptical. I get a little skeptical. Now, nobody likes being called out, so I never really say anything. I just, hell yeah, man. Get it. But if you're going to bulk, and if you're going to cut. So either one, just make sure you stick to it. Because the worst is when you're floating in limbo, right? You're not even on track for either one, and you're getting the negatives of both. Because if you're not strict with your diet, you're not going to get the leanness results that you might want. If you know, I mean, let's be real, everybody wouldn't mind abs and extra veins and striations. Just that's cool. But you're also not getting the benefits of a bulk where you're stronger, bigger, fuller. Like, I haven't had a pump where I was like insanely full for a while. I was eating a bunch of food post-show earlier this year, but that wasn't really proper bulking yet. Really, I was just kind of saying, okay, let's just free range eat for a little while. But like the feeling of, okay, I've had 600 grams of carbs so far today, and now I'm starting arms at like 4 o'clock, and just, you know, having an arm pump so crazy that you feel like you can't even really do the sets correctly. That's when, like, if I'm bulked and I do tries and then buys back and forth, supersetted, that's the feeling I get. So if you can't stick to one, I mean, you're just, you know, you just got to learn to commit in that way. I'm sure you know somebody who's always going back and forth, like, "Oh, dude, you know, I'm doing keto," and then 3 days later, it's like, "Oh, I'm carb cycling." It's like, really? You know, I'm not dogging carb cycling. The logic is sound. That's where you eat low carbs in a diet, deficit calories for 6 days, and then on Sunday you get a big ass refeed, so you eat a crap ton of carbs. That's the carb cycle. The carb cycle requires that you have low carb days. If you have high carb days every day and you're just eating a bunch of crap because you're hungry and you don't want to control yourself, well, you're not carb cycling. You're just carb consuming, and you're trying to play it off as though, oh, today's it's just a refeed, bro. It's just a refeed. Like, yeah, it might have been a refeed 4 weeks ago, but you're looking a little softer than the last time I saw you. And is that on purpose? You know, and that's not a specific dig at anybody with higher body fat, but it's for someone who doesn't want higher body fat, who's progressively adding it to their frame just because they're not controlling their meals. It's like, well, fuck, man, you know. But not my gym, not my lifts, right? Not my lipolysis, not my cardio, right? That's up to you guys. But I assume that you're all decently locked in. So, what do you think? This is, I've kind of just been titling these for a little while. Should we make this next bulk another legit series where it's like a day 1, day 2 type situation? We'll see. I definitely want to track my weight more consistently, in the sense that I want to like get a big ass whiteboard in the gym and like plot it with a dry erase marker, because come January, come February, come, you know, really just come the winter time, size will be accrued, nice and slowly, but it will be accrued. So I don't know, you tell me what you think. Bring back the winter bulk, the fucking OG. Yeah, that might be good. Call it Winter Bulk 2. Winter Bulk the sequel. Winter Bulk rebooted. back to the winter bulk. I'm trying to think of another sequel name. Return of the Bulk. I don't know. But either way, let's get amped and just get arms freaking started. So since I'm not crazy ass freaking full of carbs, I'm gonna make today another superset day. So set of push downs and then an immediate set of curls. Back and forth for a few. So really the movement selection won't just be tries, buys, it'll be pairs. So what pairs of movements do I want to do? So to start, it's 50, 60 pound dumbbell curls. I'm going to do both at once, not alternating this time. And then honestly, starting with the rope extension, ever since I switched from, because I mean, if you've been watching for a long time, you know I used to start triceps, full stack, 3 plates, easy bar, and I'm doing reps like this. Crazy amount of tension. And I mean, it was definitely doing something, but I feel like I'm getting a lot more out of a deep stretch, hold here. And at the bottom, I'm trying to turn my hands like this, like almost around. Like if I'm holding like 2 sticks, I'm trying to swing them down and then in so that they like hit me in the quads. Like that's the twisting action I'm thinking of. And when I do it like that, I feel my long head squeeze like fucking crazy. And that's the big part. If you want your triceps to grow, you want to feel way back here. But let's get started. Ooh. Cha. Cha. Choo. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's run that back once, maybe 2 more times. 2 might actually be good. Slightly heavier. Okay. Okay. One more. And then we'll pick a new combination. Okay. Shit. Come on. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. I'm not totally sure what's going to be next. I know it'll be good, but let me think for a second. Let's just hit a standard heavy push down and then grab the 35s for some incline bench curls. So, nothing else to say, but rewind through the fire and the flames and go fucking crazy. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh. Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Oh, one more. Ooh. Ha. Two. Okay. One more finisher, and we're freaking done. So here's the plan. I'm gonna finish with easy bar cable curls, and I'm gonna start with single arm tricep extensions. Only 70 pounds, literally, well, not a fourth, but almost a fourth of the stack. So the point isn't honestly even a crazy heft or a crazy squeeze. At the end of triceps, just pumping out reps, I feel fucking swells them up like nothing else. So just alternating reps of like 6 or something, and then we'll jump on the curls and just go totally nuts. Yeah. Okay. All right. Complete. Let's see how we're looking. All right. So I hope this goes without saying, because just visually should be enough confirmation. But I'm pumped. So, I mean, just standing, not posing at all, I'm feeling quite brolic. Just that arms dangling off my shoulders. It's like I don't even know. There's no reference I can make that's actually like accurate. But I feel like these are extra. Like this isn't even part of my body. They're just so like out and about. So yeah, I mean, not exactly, but that's Kevin Levrone-esque. That's Kevin Levrone-esque right there. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of like side to side shaking. And what I mean by that is like here my arms are skinnier and then here they're thicker, right? Because my triceps are bulging out. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that rope and really feeling the long head is obviously in a stretch, you get a ton, but in the squeeze, I'm almost like trying to focus on getting my forearm to wrap around my arm back and feel this bottom quadrant like really flex hard as frick. Let's say that, keep it PG. But yeah, tank. I think the tanks are basically gonna be fucking required for arm days going forward, at least for while I'm staying decently lean. Let's see how we're looking. Yeah, that's about right. Actually, sorry about this, just gotta tweak a little something. There we go. Yeah. Now we should be perfectly in focus. Oh my gosh. Oh crap. I'm freaking out of breath. But that is quite the arm pump indeed. It's hit almost muscular. Holy shit. Okay, that shot is fucking insane. Let me tweak this just a touch. There we go. Yeah, let me hit that one more time. So over the next 6 weeks, I should see substantially more midsection separation. Actually, maybe not much more substantial, but more, maybe some ab veins, and definitely some more shoulder striations. So right now, I've actually got a little, like we're even just standing here, hitting like sort of I'm like pulling my shoulders apart, but I'm holding my hands together. Like even just sitting holding that, I'm seeing a little bit of extra grain pop out. But this little pinchable layer of body fat, obviously it's not a ton, but as that shrinks, you get progressively wilder and wilder looking, to the point where it's like, you look like your shoulders are just this bundle of like steel cable just encased in your skin on the outside. So this pump is nuts. I can't help myself. I'm gonna sit here for a few more, just hit random poses that don't even have names. Actually, this is a real one. What else? It's like, what else have I not hit? Okay. Oh, I think that's enough. So let's go rip my cardio, and then I will see you in the car. But actually, before that, let's do the fucking exact same couple poses, but now closer up and like friggy lighting. Okay. Now I'm just distracting myself. I'm gonna jump on the bike and I'll see you in a little bit. There we go. So I don't know. I gotta come in later tonight, I believe. Or, yeah. I never want to do it after the gym or after the lift and cardio. But I got a little shower unit. Nothing like, not like an install, like for real. Like all I looked up was like warehouse shower. So like you just hook up a regular Fo's. What's this guy's fucking deal? He's honking at me. But you just hook up a regular like hose attachment and then you get a shower. So the fact that I'm gonna be so fucking sweaty in the gym for the next couple of months, at least while it's so hot, and I mean just if I'm doing cardio in there anyway, I think the less time I can spend with all these extra just, I mean it's not like dirt when you sweat, but it is like just regular ass fucking, you know, just sweatiness. So I think an immediate rinse pre getting in the car will do me good. Now it could be worse. I could have what would you say, cloth seats or like felt seats in here. So the fact that they're leather, they're probably not going to soak up any, you know, grossness too bad. But I think I do gotta, yeah, I think that'll be good. I'll either do that tonight or tomorrow. But 11:24, and it's about time for meal number 1. So on an arm day, I do not mind coming in and hitting a fasted lift. I got into the habit of doing that during my last prep, which some would say, well, you know, you can't have a good workout if you're fasted. You got to eat something. You need something in your system. And usually I agree. But if I'm already dieting, if I'm already trying to restrict my calories, then I'm always kind of in a state of flatness. And what I mean, I don't want to eat my 250 grams of carbs that I've got allocated for the day all before training and then go to bed without eating anything or only eating like a small carb-based meal, because that's just going to screw me over. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to be able to stick to my macros and it's going to make me go to bed hungry. So for my situation, at least my current scenario, now that I'm doing morning lifts, is morning lift, post-workout cardio. Now, of course, I'm super hydrated. Instantly drank like a liter of water right when I woke up, plus a liter with the pre. So I had enough fluids in my system to keep myself going well. And then post-workout cardio, meal number 1. So my meal consumption time is not like 7 to 10 or 7 to 11 or something, however long I'm awake, but more like a noon, 1-ish to 10. So I'm going from 9 hours to, or from what, like 15 hours of an eating window to 9. I mean, that's pretty substantial, right? So that means that the food that I do end up eating and the chunk of time that I do have to spend actually getting meals down is a lot smaller. So the food that I can eat ends up being, you know, slightly bigger portions, which is good for me. So if you're in an off season, if you're trying to grow, like once I start eating more food to the point that I'm actually like, you know, trying to put size on and develop and grow and over recover from my training, that's when I'm more picky. So I'm going to come in more like evening time, maybe not like late evening, but because I think I'm trying not to have too much caffeine like in the later period of the day, because I know it messes with my sleep quality. I still sleep great. Like I can drink a Monster and still fall asleep if I'm tired, like if it's, you know, nighttime, like time for bed. That's not a flex, but I've done that before, like way back in school, because I would like be telling myself I was going to stay up late and like work on something, and then I just ended up laying down and going to bed. But by having that caffeine, and I think the resulting, what does the caffeine do? Does it trigger? It's not if was about to say epinephrine. I don't know if that's right. Whatever ends up getting thrown around in your bloodstream when you have caffeine to give you that feeling of energy, or is it the feeling of energy, or is it the lack of fatigue? I forget the mechanism of caffeine, but whatever. Even if you can still go to sleep fine, I think it does mess with your REM. And I haven't been doing caffeine late in the day, and I feel like I've been sleeping pretty damn good. So if it's not broke, don't, well, I guess that's a situation where if it's not broke, don't break it. Well, you get the gist. But once I start trying to grow, I'm talking big breakfast. Well, actually not that big. It's gonna take me a few months to ramp up food because I want to ease into it. So really in the beginning it'll actually be more like just eating at maintenance, but eventually it'll be substantial breakfast, probably substantial lunch at the minimum, so 2 large meals before training at least, maybe 3, and then obviously a big post-workout meal, probably a little more carb heavy, plus a few more meals before I go to sleep. But right now I don't mind a fasted lift. And if I'm eating all my carbs later in the day anyway, right? So if I'm having a pretty big meal decently close to when I go to bed, am I not waking up slightly full, like slightly glycogenated, actually kind of full of carbs because I just had that big meal before I went to sleep? I think a little bit, like I wouldn't want to do a whole day fast and then lift at like 8 o'clock at night. I think that might be a little bit too much. But if I just wake up, slam my pre, drink a crap ton of water, and get after it, for an arm day, for just a chest day, a back day, and legs, I need some food, so I have a pre-workout meal before legs. And back, depends on the day. Sometimes I can tell I definitely need a pre-workout meal before back, just because it's such a big muscle. But arms, chest, I can get after it in like 45 minutes for those two, and they're not the biggest muscles on your frame, so I don't mind it. But if you don't want to go to the gym and the idea of even going into a morning lift without eating something throws you off, then eat something. You're fucking cool. But it's like you're not really getting the benefit of the eating if you eat whatever you're eating like 20 minutes before you work out. You've got to actually sit and kind of digest it for a while. So if I'm doing as soon as I wake up, I'm headed to the gym, there's not really time to actually break everything down. So another angle, which is kind of a big motivating factor for me, is doing a pose down with an empty stomach. It just looks a little bit extra freaky. And then you're really going to feel a little bit more intensely, because if you don't have any food in your stomach to basically act as a buffer for your absorption of all the caffeine and the the arginine and the citrulline and the pump ingredients and everything, I feel like you get more for your scoop. I'm not triple scooping anything right now. I guess you maybe would count it as a double, because I've been doing a full scoop of the Super Savage. I'm saying the Super Savage because that's how it's written on the label, but that's 400 mgs. And that's been doing me, shit. That's the only caffeine I'm really having in the day. Sometimes I'll throw in an extra 3D, but that's not that crazy, 400 milligrams is the daily recommendation for or the daily limit that the FDA recommends for a regular schmo. You know what I'm saying? And that guy's like 180 and he barely even trains. So if I'm 230 or in the 230s or so, 600 a day is not wild. Now, anybody who, I don't know anybody like this, but if you know a caffeine nut who's doing like a gram of caffeine pre-workout, and then, most of his fluid intake is coming from energy drinks throughout the day, then I think he might be off his rocker. He might be due for a caffeine break, a caffeine tolerance reset. So, if you know anybody like that, maybe tell him to lay off, or maybe switch his pre with a stim free and see what happens, because I bet the guy can't even fucking feel the caffeine anyway, so he's gonna think, dude, I triple scooped, but really it's just like a pump pre No stim, no caffeine or beta-alanine at all. Who freaking knows? But that was a badass arm day. I did 45 minutes on the bike. Felt extra good, hell yeah. And then, shit, I'm just feeling good. So, next couple of weeks, stay nice and lean, get a little bit grainier. I want to see some real lower back Christmas tree detail by the end of August. That's kind of my goal. And then I'm going to ease into growth very slowly, right? Very freaking slowly. It's like it's like the stand user from part 5, where it was him versus Mista, you know, and he could just tap a little object to add momentum to it. It's not much, right? But shit adds up. So if I go from averaging 2,700 calories a day or whatever I'm eating right now, and then I bump it to 2,800 for a week, and I bump it to 2,900, then 3, and then 3,100, 32, 33, 34, 35. Shit, man, before I know it, I'm going to be grubbing like crazy, burning through everything, and I'm sure my strength is going to be nuts. I mean, even right now, eating on a deficit, I feel pretty crazy. What am I looking at here? This guy looked like he's about to... Is he going for a U-turn? I was about to say, all right, I'll see you tomorrow, but now I kind of want to keep you updated on this Jaguar. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this person. I've never seen somebody totally spill it in their car in front of me. I'm not putting that energy out in the universe, or at least I'm trying not to, but you know, sometimes you see a couple swerves and it makes you a little nervous for the guy. He's all right. I don't know. He's probably just texting or something. But either way, badass arm day. And honestly, let me see how my legs feel tomorrow. Because my last quad day my last leg day was pretty legit. It was like 5 sets of leg curls, all decently heavy and solid. And then, 4-ish sets of hip press, 8 plates on each side, which is pretty heavy for that machine, especially for me dieting. So I think tomorrow is just hamstrings. So maybe I'll spice it up and do like hamstrings and shoulders or something. Just because, I mean, you know, I love, it's like you got 5 kids, right? You love them equally, right? I love my hamstrings, but a hamstring day only doesn't necessarily get me going super crazy. So I think that might be a good combo day. Hamstrings and forearms. Maybe hamstrings and delts. We'll see. We will freaking see. But until then, I'm going to get some food in my system. I was planning on laying out in the sun, but it's a little bit overcast today, so I think I might have to save that for tomorrow. So, either way, I'll see you for whatever tomorrow brings.